Well, this is a mess. Hey guys, my name's Dan Uladol. I am a 30 plus year model airplane enthusiast. Um, I have, let's see here, I've been flying since I was about 13, 14 years old. I've been around it my entire life. My dad flew um, since he was probably 8 to 12, somewhere in there. So we've run through the gamut of radio controlled stuff. Um, we we're in a new technology phase in model airplanes and everything with computer radios, and there's a lot of information out there, and it's hard to find sometimes. So hopefully this video I tag it right so that it's easier to find than what I dealt with this past couple days. This one is not as bad as um, the problem I had with receiver, and I'll get on that with another video maybe later tonight. So what I came up with was um, it wasn't super clear on how to make a buddy box system work. So I have, of course, my really nice IX-12 that I use for all my airplanes now. That really nice with the bind and fly stuff. But my son, he's 12 now. Um, he shows a little interest here and there, and it would be nice to be able to just instantly take something out, like my new um, ultra slow stick or any of my other myriad of airplanes. Or I've got him a trainer too. I've got a old Sig Cadet, not an old, but an ARF that we got him several years ago. Um, that I could set up with an AR-630 Spektrum receiver or any of the Spektrum receivers. With the safe now, you could really get him some good stick time without the fear of overcorrection and barrel rolling into the earth. So the buddy box system, just a little bit I've used them over the years, it's a great way to train somebody. So my goal yesterday was to figure out, now that the weather's changing, how do I get a buddy box system set up with equipment I already have laying around? I got this DXS with a um, bind and fly, not a bind and fly, a ready to fly airplane from a friend of mine. It's a Habu jet. They call it a trainer jet. So it comes with the DXS transmitter. Um, it has the safe switch. This is what they set the safe on. So up here would be full safe mode, AS3X. So you have your flight stabilizer, and then um, you'll have full safe, which limits your roll. So if this is your aircraft, limit your roll to about here. Um, Kind of self takeoff, so it'll do some mixing to add a little bit of elevator with throttle, so that it'll take off straight with the AS3X. It'll take off real nice and straight, keeps the wings level, gets you a couple mistakes high before you start flying. Um, I am kind of a fan of the safe system. My goal is to get people off of the safe system as fast as possible. Um, and with a buddy box setup, you can do that a little bit quicker, I would say. So let's get down to brass tacks here. So everything I read said you couldn't use the DXS as a buddy box, but it didn't make sense because it comes with the trainers. So real quickly, all I had to do was get into model setup, which this works. These same windows work. Um, that's going to be impossible to see on there. Let's see. There we go. So it's all backwards. Can I reverse that? Um, well, follow along. You can roll I'll just explain it really well. You can roll with your DX systems and go down to trainer. So let's see here. You're in trainer mode, you go to wireless trainer. Proceed. Oh, hold on, press. Proceed. And now you end up with pilot link instructor as a drop down. You can set up a switch. So you just click on the box just like you do when you're setting your dual rates. And then you're going to click switch. I put it on my gear switch here. A lot of people will use the momentary switch. Just like the old trainers had the big switch back here, you'd hold it, the snap roll switch, and you let go when the person got in trouble. So my goal here was to try out the other system it has in here. It has instructor override. So the instructor override is really cool, and I'll show it to you here in a second. So you've picked your switch, and now you can go down, and there's other menus in here. You can shut off different parts of your controls. So if you have landing gear and flaps and things on the aircraft that you don't want your trainee to worry about accidentally flipping a switch and hitting, like landing gear or flaps or smoke or whatever you have on there, you can actually opt out of those switches for the trainee's transmitter. So that's a pretty quick description of things you can do in here. Again, I'm in the wireless link, so I'm going to click bind. It goes into bind mode. So I'm going to push and hold bind. It's binding. So now all you have to do is take your DXS or your DX9 or your DX or IX20, whatever your trainee's transmitter is going to be. You push and hold the bind button or go into bind mode and turn it on. And it says success, DX MX, 11 milliseconds. And you can hit OK or it'll time out. Now you back out of the menus all the way back to your home screen. And then you start your aircraft. Make sure your throttles and your throttle cutoffs, which I always set this switch right here as my throttle cutoff. On all mine and my buddy's planes, we all have the same throttle cutoff. So throttle cutoff, throttle cutoff. All right, so that initialized. You can't really, well, I guess I can move this up a little bit. I got the laser cutter going. I've got 3D printers going. It's kind of noisy in here. That's why I'm kind of talking loud. So I have control over this airplane. I have all the controls. Now, if I flip the switch to here, now this transmitter has control. All right, now he just crashed. He's heading towards the bushes. Okay. Let's see. I'll put this over here. I could just flip the switch, and he doesn't have control anymore. Okay. Now he's got control. Now the override is this simple. Now I have control. He doesn't have control. It's automatically override. Bypass the switch and everything. So you immediate control. You don't have to have one of those senior moments and forget to flip the switch and the airplane goes into at our field, it would go into the lake. you're not going to get it back. Um, so to reset that switch, you just flip it that way. I'm still on control here. And now I've transferred it over to here. Now there's voice options in here too. I can say, I can make it say trainer control or something like that. I'm not a big thing of my transmitter talking to me too much. It's more verbal communication with my my trainee and me. I don't want to have to try to figure out what she said, especially if the field's loud that day. So it's that simple, guys. I was shocked. So that's really all I'm going to get into detail on about this video. I did it live so I could do it in one take, no editing, no nothing like that. But it's really that simple. The only thing I needed to change from this transmitter was it had a bunch of left rudder trim into it. So you want to make sure when you're going back and forth that none of your control surfaces move from a trimmed out aircraft on your master transmitter, your instructor transmitter. And the other things to check, like this plane I fly mid-rate, and it's mildly aerobatic, kind of a smooth setting. I can go up to high rate. That was pretty interesting. Flying it around like that, it gets real aerobatic. So this transmitter also has dual rates all on one switch. So I move everything to full limits. So I would recommend making sure, one, everything goes the right direction. Left aileron up, elevator up, rudder left, rudder right, stuff like that. And I think the batteries are going dead in this one, so I need to make sure before we take it out, put fresh batteries in it. It only takes 4 AA's. So for testing purposes, it's just fine. So that's really it for setting up a buddy box. And this would be great to have in the truck or have in the car when you go out to the field and somebody new comes up and you've got something that you can turn immediately into a trainer. This is a great plane to turn into a trainer. I've got a couple trainers I'm going to put together. It's all about propagating this hobby to everyone you can. So make sure you give them an opportunity and say, hey, do you want to try it? I've got an extra transmitter in the truck. I can hand that to you. We can go up. You can do some turning and a little bit of flying here, and get them the bug, get them caught so they can go out and get an airplane and come out and join us at the field. So that's all I got. I'm going to end this one, and hopefully some people see it.